living each day as your last, the radical practice of presence that transforms how you spend your finite time, the Emperor's Morning. Every morning for 19 years Marcus Aurelius woke before dawn. Before the demands of ruling the world's greatest empire reached him, he sat in silence and wrote. His first thought, recorded in his private journal: when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This wasn't positive thinking, it was death thinking. Marcus knew that his precious privilege could end at any moment, and this knowledge shaped every decision he made that day. The problem with tomorrow: we live as though tomorrow is guaranteed. We defer joy, postpone love, delay purpose. We treat time like an infinite resource and spend it accordingly. Seneca saw this clearly. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements, if it were all well invested. How much of your life has been well invested? How many days have you ended thinking, "I'll do what matters tomorrow"? How many tomorrows have already passed? The day before you die. Imagine you learned, with certainty, that you would die tomorrow night. What would you do with your final day? Would you go to that job you hate? Would you watch television for hours? Would you scroll through social media? Would you argue about trivial things? Would you worry about what strangers think of you? Or would you tell everyone you love exactly how you feel? Experience the world with full presence. Do only what truly matters. Forgive completely. Live without fear. Here's the Stoic insight. Why would you live any differently today? The practice of final days. The Stoics weren't suggesting you quit your job and behave recklessly. They were suggesting a reorientation of attention and priority. Living as though each day is your last means: 1. Eliminate the trivial. Most of what occupies us is noise, arguments that don't matter, worries about opinions that will be forgotten, achievements that will turn to dust. Each morning, ask, if this were my last day, would I spend it on this? If the answer is no for too many things, your life needs editing. Prioritize the essential. What would you regret not doing if you died tonight? Unspoken love, unforgiven resentments, unexpressed gratitude, unpursued dreams. These are the essential things. They deserve today's attention, not tomorrow's promises. 3. Engage with full presence. Marcus Aurelius noticed how people rush through life. Never value anything as profitable that compels you to break your promise. Lose your self-respect, hate any man suspect, curse, act the hypocrite, or desire anything that needs walls or curtains. Full presence means experiencing each moment as though it's precious, because it is. 4. Release the fear of death. When you practice dying mentally each day, actual death loses its terror. You have rehearsed it. You have made peace with it. You have oriented your life around it. Seneca wrote, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive." Living as though each day is your last paradoxically frees you to live more fully. The quality of attention. There is a difference between being alive and being present. You can be alive for 80 years while only being truly present for moments scattered across decades. Most people sleepwalk through their lives, waking only briefly for intense experiences before returning to autopilot. The Stoic practice changes this. When you remember that this might be your last conversation with someone, you listen differently. When you remember that this might be your last sunset, you watch differently. When you remember that this might be your last breath, you breathe differently. This is what Marcus meant by living properly. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. The practical application. How do you actually implement this philosophy without becoming paralyzed by constant death awareness? The morning intention. Upon waking, take 30 seconds. This might be my last day. How will I live it? Let the answer guide your priorities for the hours ahead. The presence trigger. Throughout the day, use moments as triggers for presence. Each time you see a loved one, this might be the last time. Each time you eat, this might be my last meal. Each time you see beauty, this might be my last glimpse. Not morbidly but appreciatively. The evening completion. Before sleep review. If I had died today, would I be satisfied with how I spent it? If yes, sleep in peace. If no, let tomorrow be different. The weekly inventory. Once per week. Ask the larger questions. Am I spending my life on what matters? Are there conversations I'm avoiding that need to happen? Is my daily existence aligned with my deepest values? What would my deathbed self regret about how I'm living? The intensity of the finite. Here is the paradox. Accepting that your time is limited intensifies rather than diminishes life. Unlimited time would be a curse. Nothing would be precious because nothing would be scarce. Every conversation could be had later. Every experience could be postponed. Every I love you could wait. It is precisely because your time will end that it has meaning. The sunset is beautiful because it fades. The flower is precious because it wilts. The moment is sacred because it passes. Your life has weight because it will end. The testimony of the dying. Those who work with the dying report a consistent pattern. At the end, people do not regret the risks they took. They regret the risks they didn't take. They don't regret the love they expressed. They regret the love they withheld. They don't regret the experiences they had. They regret the experiences they postponed forever. The Stoics offer you this wisdom now, while there is still time to act on it. You do not have to wait until your final days to live with the clarity of your final days. The gift of today. Today will come once. It will never return. The people you will see today. This might be your last encounter. The work you will do today. This might be your last contribution. The breath you will take. This might be your last breath. This is not a burden. It is a gift. The gift of knowing that this moment matters, that this day counts, that your finite life has infinite significance in how you choose to live it. Live accordingly. Next steps. In our next lesson, we'll explore the view from above. The Stoic practice of gaining perspective by imagining yourself looking down at your life from the vastness of the cosmos. Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life. Seneca.